Welcome back to Fizzy's Wacky World of Wrestling. I'm 14 Fitzpatrick. We begin Hour 2 with John Cena walking to the ring, cutting a promo on Daniel Bryan. He says that Daniel Bryan is underestimating him and that he will win at SummerSlam. It was a really solid promo by John Cena, and I thought the Daniel Bryan promo was good, but this one was absolutely fantastic. And what's interesting to me is that John Cena is really taking this program with Bryan really seriously. I really do feel that this is going to be probably the next to last championship run of John Cena. He has a lot of injuries, his career is winding down, so he's going to give it his all to make sure that Daniel Bryan gets the championship, then probably gets cashed in on by Randy Orton. And speaking of Randy Orton, he shows up with the red briefcase and cuts a short but sweet promo and says that the champ is here by pointing to the red briefcase. I guess the red briefcase asked for a title shot at a future pay-per-view, and he really wants it. I'm proud of the red briefcase for doing what many inanimate objects should have been doing years ago. Asking for championship opportunities because they obviously pinned the champion. I'm all for a 5-star match between Alberto Del Rio's bucket and Randy Orton's red briefcase. Or a match between Dolph Ziggler and a broom. All of these possibilities to expand the horizons of professional wrestling to a new medium. Either inanimate object versus inanimate object wrestling, or wrestler versus inanimate object. Hey, it worked for Dramatic Dream Team Pro Wrestling, based in Japan. They had a ladder as their champion. I think it can work for WWE. Then, the two are interrupted by the Shield, who decide to walk to the ring because apparently they've caused some form of injustice. I guess, what, did they forget to pay their parking ticket or something? Anyway, Daniel Bryan then runs to the ring to make it a free-on-free match. Then Brad Maddox runs in and announces there's going to be a 6-man tag team match for the main event. Awesome! I absolutely love these matches. Especially since they devolve into nothing but chaos. Next up in the chaos department is Tons of Funk versus the Wyatt family. Tons of Funk asked for this rematch after getting beaten by the Wyatt family on SmackDown. I personally would have just stayed home. The Wyatt family absolutely destroys Brodus Clay and Sweet Tea. Then proceeds to use Brodus Clay as a sacrifice to summon Kane, who responds on the Titanton and cuts an extremely good promo on the Wyatt family, and saying that there's going to be a Ring of Fire match at SummerSlam. Cool. I really like this match, for as short as it was, it definitely proved the point. The Wyatt family are this unstoppable clan of psychotic hillbillies, and Brodus Clay and Sweet Tea are the jobber sacrifices in order to summon Kane. I find it also really interesting that the Wyatt family can only communicate to their enemies by sacrificing jobbers. I mean, thus far they've sacrificed 6 superstars thus far, including 4 superstars in one night on Main Event a couple weeks ago. Okay, well, you have to do what you have to do to attract the attention of your enemies. And I guess sacrificing jobbers or sub-main eventers or mid-carders is the way to go. I'm all for it. Then CM Punk cuts a promo that I missed, but apparently it was a pretty good promo. And we cut to the next match, which is Layla versus Kaitlyn. Layla turned heel on Kaitlyn a week ago on SmackDown. And this is the revenge match, as is traditional in the WWE hierarchy. Layla really saves this match by putting on her best heel performance in years. She cuts up promos that says she wants attention, which I completely understand. There's all these young, pretty divas that are outshining her, and she obviously feels the need to turn heel on the one person that has supported her, which is Kaitlyn. Kaitlyn is very angry to start this match, but interestingly, it looks as though that she hurt her knee on one of the world tours, and is moving incredibly slowly. Layla saves this match by putting on, like I said, her best heel performance in years. From impersonating a sloth by crawling on the ring ropes, to taunting Kaitlyn endlessly. Basically attempting to get herself mauled by the enraged farm tractor. But, fortunately for Layla, she has formed an alliance with the Divas champion AJ Lee, which factors into the end of this match. AJ skips down to the ring in her customary tradition of skipping around the ring. Layla gets a super kick that nearly misses Kaitlyn's head after Kaitlyn attempts to sucker punch AJ while she is on the ropes, and wins the match. Like I said, it was a good match that was really saved by Layla. You know, props to her. Next up was Heath Slater versus Christian in the second best match of the night. I really liked the finish of this match that involved Heath Slater playing air guitar while Christian is resting in the corner of one of the turnbuckles. Christian then proceeds to get a second wind and proceeds to spear Heath Slater out of his boots for the 1-2-3. Really should have thought better about doing air guitar in the middle of the ring. Maybe you should have done it on like the outside of the ring, or maybe at the entrance ramp, or maybe anywhere but the middle of the ring, which is basically a dead zone for you, because, well, you just got speared by Christian. Although he did really sell it well, which is really great. And then we move to the best match on the card. CM Punk versus the Chief of the Auto Parts, Curtis Axel. To start the match, Punk walks to the entrance ramp while Axel is doing his entrance and attempts to attack Paul Heyman. Axel intercepts this and proceeds to brawl with Punk for the most of this match. The match itself was extremely well done. Axel played his role of the disruptive young heel to perfection. It was absolutely perfect, like his dad. He's definitely turning into his own character, however. He's like the perfect champion. He does the perfect plex, but is not his finisher, because he has an even better finisher. He works with Heyman extremely well in the choreographing of the match. Heyman returns mid-match, while Axel has Punk in a hold. Punk does the traditional babyface counter and starts building momentum to the finish. He has Axel knocked down over into one of the turnbuckles, and Axel crawls down to the middle of the ring and proceeds to talk some strategy with Heyman. Punk, like every other horror movie villain in the last 50 years, decides to take the golden opportunity to attempt to jump and grab Heyman's throat and proceed to strangle him. Naturally, because this is a chokehold, the referee decides to disqualify Punk, and Punk attempts to continue his attack. Until this happens. We all knew it was coming, but it was oh so good. Brock Smash! Brock Lesnar's music hits. He comes out, proceeds to act like the destroyer of worlds. Punk gets attacked by Axel. He hits a GTX on Axel, and then proceeds to brawl with Brock Lesnar. He attempts to hit him with a chair, which backfires spectacularly. He then hits Brock with the turnbuckle that had the botched spot with the bucket. That turnbuckle has been really busy today. I hope it's getting extra pay for this performance, because it's doing an absolutely fabulous job. Then where it cut to the finish. In the middle of the ring lies Brock Lesnar, who has been knocked out by Punk. Punk is about to attack Heyman. Heyman pleads his case not to attack him with the steel chair. Punk waits about 5 seconds too long. Brock Lesnar gets up, proceeds to counter Punk's attack on Heyman, hits an F5 on him, and then proceeds to hit him in the back with a chair 3 times. Okay, awesome. The match was really good. Axel performed his offensive maneuvers extremely well and acted, like I said, as the perfect disruptor. He knows that he's not in the main event program, but he does his best job that he can. Punk, for his part, sells his offense incredibly well, and also did a really good job with Axel in the beginning of the brawl by hitting a GTS on him, like I said. Lesnar, for his part, acted like the destroyer of worlds in the cross between the Incredible Hulk and Wolverine. And this should be a really interesting match for SummerSlam. Hulk versus Wolverine. And all the nerds in the world scream in unison. Screams of joy. As one of their dreams is about to happen. Isn't it wonderful? Then Renee Young cuts an interview segment with Heyman, Lesnar, and Axel, and Paul Heyman announces that he's going to challenge Punk for a match next week on Raw. Awesome! I really like manager versus wrestler matches. They're always really fun. Except when Michael Cole or Jerry the King Lawler get involved. Never again, WWE. Please. Anyway, that closes part 2 of this review. And we will be right back.